near the city.
Okay, so how's it looking out there in Jersey right now?
It's looking it's nice. I mean, it's not sorry, I'll be right back in a second.
No problem. All right, so we lost Erin for a moment, and she'll be back. But it is me for now. We're doing the thing here on the I'ma Get in Trouble podcast, and tonight we have our lovely guest. Let me see if I can see where she's at. Erin is out right now. Okay, but either way, you get to stare at my ugly face for a couple of quick seconds, and I know nobody out there missed it, but maybe one or two. But either way, there we go. There's our guest back. There she is. Okay, so tonight we have the wonderful Erin Jackson on the I'ma Get in Trouble podcast. Y'all know me. It's your boy, Terrence G. Eddie Liles will be joining us here soon. He's having some technical difficulties and some scheduling stuff. So as you were saying, Miss Jackson, you're out there in New Jersey, right? How's it looking? Okay.
It's nice. I mean, we had a couple 75-degree days and it's back. It was a little chilly the last couple, but I think I think spring is on its way. I'm looking forward to it.
How's it opening up? Y'all got things moving now, like with where we're at in COVID? Like,
I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm in my house. Where are you?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. I actually moved. Yeah, okay. I moved out of DC in November of right before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
And so it was like the world went on fire the moment I left DC. So I'm not saying it was me, but I'm not saying it was me.
I lived in DC for 15 years. I loved it there. I miss it so much.
It's a nice spot. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And it's
especially in the summer. It's free. I know. That's why I love. Yeah.
That speaks to my white trash core because I grew up super poor, super white trash. So like when you get to go to everything free, I'm still sitting there like looking at the security guards like
it spoke to my broke comedian core too. Shoot.
So let's get this thing going, Erin. We know that you're out in Jersey. How long have you been doing comedy now?
17 years.
17. My goodness. Mm-hmm. What was the thing? Do you remember what it was that got you started?
Yeah, it was a dare. It was a dare from the guy I was dating. I was still living in DC. Then I started comedy in DC. And we had just started talking and we were having that conversation, like, what would you try if you could try anything, that kind of thing. And I said comedy. I don't really know where it came from, but I was always a fan. And then, he kind of dared me. He was like, you should do that then. It's not like you want to be an astronaut or something. He was like, you could be a comedian. He's like, we'll go. He was from Baltimore. He was like, we'll go to Baltimore. Nobody will know you. And then if you embarrass yourself, it'll be fine. Just try it. But that's not what we did. I wound up, he sent me, we found an ad for the DC Improv was having a one-day comedy seminar. It was their very first one before they opened their full-fledged comedy school or anything like that. And I went to the seminar and I met other people that wanted to be comics and we got together and started going to open mics together and the rest is history.
So this guy you were dating dared you and that's what got you into comedy?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know if I ever would have tried it.
So was he a comic as well, or is he just a dude that was like, just do it?
He was a Marine. Worked at the Pentagon. Yep.
Okay. So what made you catch the bug then? Because everybody kind of starts, but what was it a moment? Was it the initial? Was it all of it? Where did you catch the bug to be like, this is it for me?
Yeah, I mean, I already was a comedy fan. Already, like a lot of people though, like reciting comedy specials that I loved. But I think the first night I did an open mic, it was at a sushi bar in DuPont Circle. And I mean, it was not good if you were an audience member, but I enjoyed it. It was like 3 minutes. They put a mic right next to the sushi case. And I got up there. I had a great time. I loved it. And I started going, I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday. But I remember I went there like for years. That was what I did every Monday or Tuesday or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
And then obviously other nights too. But I'm just saying that was my first open mic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you got bit by the bug early on, it seems like, right? What was your defining moment early on? What was the one thing that made you say, I'm definitely sticking with this, to where you were like, I'm in this for the long haul? Because 17 years is a huge thing.
Yeah. In the beginning, I never even thought of it as trying to do it as a career, like ever quitting my job or anything. To me, it was like I had a job I didn't like during the day. I didn't like a lot of the people that I work with. I was just looking for something fun in my life. So it was like, oh, I have new friends. I have a hobby. Like it was more like that. So, and I was always a very practical person. Like I'm not doing it unless I could plan it out and see how it's going to go and how much money do I need. So I was comfortable. I had a good job that gave me a lot of vacation. So I would just go do comedy on the weekends. If I need to travel, I'd take a Friday off, something like that. But I remember the first year, I think 2008 was the first year I was ever on TV. And I think I did like national TV. I did a Comedy Central. I did Last Comic Standing.
Girl. Hell yeah.
And I did the Ellen show. And I got to Ellen and she was like, you still have a job? I was like, hell yeah, I'm going back there Monday too. Cause I don't have any work. I can't quit my job off this. She's like, I think you should think about quitting your job. But honestly, I don't know if, it wasn't even, I just was like, cause I think, when you're first starting out, you don't realize like there's so many comedians whose name you'll never know that make a living off of comedy, right? I think, okay, like, Chris Rock makes a living off of comedy. Jerry Seinfeld makes a living off of comedy. I'm not thinking about all the comics who tour colleges and are road comics who you never see because they work in shitty bars. Like I didn't know you could make a living in the way that I know now, so I just wasn't an option.
Right.
But yeah, I started off in colleges and that's how I was able to like leave my job. I was just like, okay, I have enough colleges to pay for my life for a year. And then if it sucks, my job will hire me back. Like they like me. So that was kind of it.
So how did that make you feel in that moment, right? Like you make it through TV in 2008 and then Ellen DeGeneres looks at you in your face and says, why do you have a day job? Tell me how that made you feel.
I mean, it made me feel great because it was one of those things where it's like, people could laugh, but a lot of times, especially, and even now it's more so, it's like the validation from people you admire is different. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I can make people laugh in a bar in, Adams Morgan, but can I, if Ellen DeGeneres knows who I am and she had me on her show, maybe I should pay more attention to this. Maybe I should, take it more seriously, really consider it. So it definitely helps. I think I did Ellen in September, and I had quit my job by March.
Oh,
yeah.
So you said that you're practical, right? So you want things to line up, and you're looking at finances and everything. Were you like a government worker or something?
No, I worked at a newspaper.
Okay, so I don't know why I just think DC, and I think it's like government or something. Because 90% of everybody is military or government somehow. So when you do the practical thing. What was outside of the Ellen deal? What was the one thing that you're like, I can do this? This practicality aside, and all of this plans and vacation aside, I can do this for a living.
I mean, it wasn't until I, quit. I didn't know until I did it, right? So it wasn't until I quit my job. Like I knew, I went to. People aren't going to know what this means, probably, but like. There's do you know what NACA is?
Sounds familiar.
I'll explain it. It's fine.
Yeah, hit me up.
It stands for National Association of Campus Activities. So they have conferences throughout the year, like by region. They have a national conference. And what it is, it's like anybody that wants to, it's how colleges book entertainment for the year. So you apply to showcase there, and they'll have bands and, spoken word and lecturers, all kinds of fun, comedians, obviously. And basically you go perform. If you get accepted to perform, you perform. These schools come watch you and they buy you. It's like you know what I mean? And so you sit in a booth like a college fair. So I got accepted to one of those because I had the credit that I had been on Ellen, and then they accepted me. And then I went to one, booked a bunch of schools, and then I could see how much money I had laid out for the next year because they get you get your contracts. And once I saw that, so it was still being practical, even though it was but I knew. I was like, okay, yeah. I might have to go to Idaho to get it, but I'm gonna get this money.
So where did that take you in places that you didn't see before? Was it Idaho? Was that the one place you're like, Oh my goodness. Or was it like
Idaho is beautiful. I've been to I think there's probably 4 states I haven't been to, but I
okay?
performed I performed in places, being an East Coast girl. I grew up in Jersey. Um only ever really lived in the DC area other than that, but like just being able to go to like Montana and Wyoming and just see how beautiful the country is, man.
So
Like
different up there, isn't it?
it's so different. It's so beautiful. And it's like, I mean, I've been to Nebraska, I've been to Norfolk a couple times
Yep.
for a comedy festival.
Okay.
I've been all over. So it's, I really enjoy traveling. I would like to go more exotic than Idaho. Somebody could hire me, where I got to go over an ocean. That would be nice.
I was
But
about to say you just want Canada. That's all.
I've been to Canada, but yeah.
That's good stuff. So, walk me through your comedic inspirations. You said you've been a fan of comedy for a while now? Is there somebody particular that you looked up to or still look up to? Is there somebody that influences you now?
Well, I will say growing up, who influenced me, I can't say that I look up to them now, but I was a huge Cosby fan.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. I mean,
you were a little too hesitant in the beginning for me not to.
Because here's the thing though, somebody can't uninspire you even if they're an asshole, you know what I mean? Or they do shitty crimes. I can't like undo what he did. So like my dad was a big Cosby fan. My dad took me to see Cosby the first time, probably when I was like in junior high. And I've seen him a bunch of times, but I love what he does in terms of making it feel like a conversation. To me, I was like, I enjoy that kind of comedy. And I enjoy the kind of comedy where you feel like the person.
Right.
Like something about their lives as opposed to like, oh, have you ever noticed? And there's this thing out in the world because his comedy faced inwards. Right. It was like, oh, this is what happened to my family. This is, my kid did this. And so that was really appealing to me. And that's kind of what I try to do with my stand-up. Most of my comedy is definitely about my life, things that I've been through, things that I overheard. So yeah, he remains an influence. Comedically. Comedically, I ain't drugging niggas. But
for now. Maybe when you get to like that Ellen level or that Bill Cosby level, like shit changes. It's
been a lonely year, Terrence. It's been a very lonely year.
This pandemic hits you hard, huh?
I know. We're in a panini, and I really, just kidding. Just kidding.
So then you look at Bill Cosby, and one, people need to let that shit go and separate his body of work from the crimes, because those are two very separate things. You can't erase all the things that he did when it came to comedically, like the albums that he pushed out, even the Cosby Show. So people really got to cut that stuff out.
You can't erase it, but honestly, I don't listen to the albums the same anymore. I don't listen to them now. I mean, I already know them by heart, so it doesn't matter. But like, it's hard for me. Like the whole separate the artist from the art is, in theory, it makes sense, but it's hard to like laugh knowing. Like I just be like,
You're right. But I mean it from, like you said, with the inspiration. It's not like all of a sudden you're gonna take your childhood memories and be like, let me erase Bill Cosby for it's not.
That's impossible, right?
It's foolish. And this weird woke culture where they're like, oh no, cancel everybody that even liked Bill Cosby. It's just weird to me. But yeah. So you, ma'am, were on She Ready for Netflix, correct?
Well, I was on Tiffany Haddish Presents. They Ready.
I want you to talk that shit, girl. Tell me how that was. What'd you think?
It was great. It was an opportunity that I could not have ever imagined. I never saw myself making it to Netflix. I didn't see a way to get there. And Tiffany sharing her platform was amazing. I didn't even know Tiffany in real life. She knew my comedy. Obviously, I knew who she is and I know her work, but like she had seen me live. And so we would cross paths, but we never really even had a conversation. And for her to extend that opportunity to me was amazing. And, gave me something to do during the pandemic. I wasn't doing anything, but I wasn't performing comedy either. So she was like, special. I was like, we doing it on Zoom? Like, you mean get on the plane and go somewhere? But nah, it was dope. I'm so excited about it. And I'm looking forward to everything, opening back up so I can get out there and tour and work on new material. And yeah.
Have you been writing a lot now with the pandemic going on?
Not a ton. I mean, writing in different types. I also am working on a couple like writing for TV projects and stuff like that. The stand up for me is I've written some, but I haven't really worked anything out. I just have a ton of premises to go.
Right.
Because it's like it's I'm not going to work them out on Zoom. It's just not gonna happen.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. I mean, there's some little things I could say. I'm like, oh, that's funny, but like in general, I need a stage. And it's weird because, in the world before, like everybody's living different lives, the same thing is happening to everybody. So it's really hard to write original material that every other comic isn't going to have, because we're not having any experiences. So I need to have some more experiences to write about, and then, kind of fill in the, because nobody wants to hear when people go back to clubs, nobody's going to want to hear an hour and a half of pandemic jokes.
Right.
Like a crowd is not, they're like, we finally got out.
I don't care about your mask, bro.
Right.
Just everybody give me the funny.
Exactly. But every comic is going to have jokes about what we've been through. Yeah. So, because it's never been that we all were having the same thing to write about. So I think, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, yo, the first people that go to like the first comedy shows back, they're brave. And they're like, yeah, because of the virus. And, it's I was like, no, not because of that. Like, I mean, yeah, because of that. But also because the shows are not going to be good. They're not going to be good.
Trash.
But, we'll be grateful that you're there.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because with all the comics that we've interviewed over the last few months with the pandemic, it's very much a 50-50 split, in that it seems like 50% were like, oh, hell yeah, I took the pandemic. I've been writing like crazy. And then you have the other half that is kind of what you're saying, and kind of with me is like, I've been on Groundhog's Day since March of last year. I have nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find that it changed your creative process at all? Did it change your creative process? Or do you kind of feel like now that it seems as we're on the back end, you're kind of just going to be knocking some rust off, going back to the other way?
Yeah, I mean, my process, I write on stage. So it definitely, stilted my process. I mean, I still have some things, obviously I wrote pandemic jokes for the special. So, it's still there. But I can't wait to get out there and, like you said, dust off, get the dust off and all that stuff. Like I really want to. I mean, but I'm not going to do it beforehand. I've been very, very diligent. So I'm like, I'm not rushing out there till I get both vaccine shots, like, and then wait the waiting period, and then wait a little longer. Because I just, I'm just waiting for things to be a little bit safer. Right. But by May, June, I want to be back in the mix for real.
Oh yeah. 17 years, Erin. That's a long time. So how has comedy changed since you started?
Oh man. I mean, there's so many more outlets for comedy, so many more venues, so many more outlets, so many more comics I've never even heard of that are huge. I'm like, wait, how are you? Who are you? But just because there's so much comedy out there, which is a good thing, because people are, they love it. They're consuming it at, a lot, which is great. Obviously the proliferation of the camera phones. I mean, but that's, in everybody's life for everything. That has changed things. Like it used to be like, you can fuck up in a room, and say something crazy or have a moment without it going on YouTube. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially these college kids. I'm not really doing colleges anymore at this point. But they're the first to throw your stuff up on YouTube, and you're just like, dude, no.
Do you find colleges harder to perform at, especially now with this, what seems to be a more outrage culture? I don't know that it necessarily is, but what seems to be more outrage. Do you find colleges to be harder?
Not necessarily for me for that reason. You know,
Okay.
I don't have an act that's offensive. I'm not really doing anything that's gonna, that's why you work colleges. Most of us can work colleges because so it's not really that, but but yeah, you do. There are some things where, I mean, let me just say this. The reason colleges are really hard for me now is because I'm a grown ass woman. Like I'm 42. Like I'm not, I don't have nothing to, you know what I mean? Like what? I don't know what your life is. You're 18. Like I don't
I got a house note.
Right. And that would be the thing. I'd be like, I got a mortgage. I got real grown up problems. Like y'all can't, and I don't want to write new material for y'all because I'm not going to use it anywhere else. And so it's like the same, I'm telling the same college jokes that I've written, you know what I mean? Because I'm not updating it. I'm not doing it.
That's the part about it.
So yeah, I think I aged out of college shows.
Erin, I am so happy to see you face to face for a second. For everybody on audio, this is Eddie Liles. I'm just jumping in, interrupting Terrence's brilliant interview process.
I don't know that it's brilliant.
Terrence is just like spitting off like a question, then letting her answer, no interruptions. It's beautiful, brother. I like it.
I want to highlight Erin. All right.
No, this is not the normal you. This is not the normal you, and I don't like it. I'm being honest with you. Okay, Erin.
I'm so sorry, Erin.
Oh, what is it? Usually a fight? Is it a cage fight? What did I sign up for?
He yells at me all day, and then he denigrates me. See, like we were doing just fine.
We really were.
And then he comes in with his bald head like a newborn baby just wrecking life for no reason.
There's Terrence.
Yeah. So anyways, Erin, 17 years. 17
Yes.
I love that shit. I love seeing people succeed in this long term. What's been your biggest lesson thus far? And what's been your biggest drawback?
I mean, the biggest lesson probably is just don't quit. Like, keep doing it. Because I swear, every time I got ready to quit comedy, which is in my head a lot, like, I'd be like, I wanted to flip desks and stuff.
Who do I got to quit to, though, damn it?
Right. Who can that? Right. Exactly. Then nobody cares. I quit and nobody knows because I just quit in my head and I don't work for nobody. But I feel like so many times when I felt like, man, this is it. Like, I don't think I can do this. I can't live like this anymore. When I was really struggling, like it was right before something big happened. Or it was like right before, even if it wasn't something big, it would be like a validation from somebody in the industry who would say something to me or send me a note or have me on, you know what I mean? Where I was like, oh man, that person's paying attention. That person values what I do. All right, I give it another week, you know? So it was that is the lesson. Like it might be right there. So and the only way to get better is to keep doing it, right? There's no shortcut. And then, I mean, the drawbacks are just, I mean, other than money in the beginning, because, you know, obviously, but like, I feel like I missed, you know, it's when you're committed to something like comedy and then your hours are like backwards to everybody in your life, meaning like I can't hang out on weekends at night. People like, what you doing Friday night? I'm like, what you doing Tuesday afternoon? You know, like it's hard to date. It's hard. You miss all your friends' big days, you know, and sometimes it's like, you know, they support you, but they're sick of you not being there. And so when you have a thing like this Netflix thing where everybody can rally around and be like, oh man, like I could see what you sacrificed for. And you know what I mean? Like you finally did then it feels really good, I think, to everybody in life because then they get it, you know? But it's weird because I feel like the pandemic has been like, oh, I have all this downtime, but I still can't connect with my people because of it, right? You're like, oh, I could really live like a regular life. And then you're like, no, I can't. No, I can't.
That's funny.
You try to online date when we meet, and I'm like, when I get a shot, like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not, you know. So it's
we can do a Zoom meeting,
right? Exactly. We can do a date. We could do a Zoom date.
So, Erin, I got a question because I haven't been able to ask one since I was in my car the entire ride over. No, all right. So you talked about starting in DC, right? Have you come? You've been back. So I'm a DC comic. I do a lot of stuff in DC.
Okay.
You've been back because I've always hear like the name, like your name come up and everything. Like, but I always saw you on TV, so it was like everybody was like, "Yeah, Erin Jackson's from DC," and I'm like, "Is she though?" Like, when I started doing comedy was what 12, so you were already on TV. Yeah, like it was just like so. Coming back, are there like people still in DC that you think are on their way out? I know you talked about one person on the Netflix special, but like other than that, like do you have other people that you think like? Yo, as soon as they break out, it's over. Like they might be up here.
It's crazy because there are a bunch of people I started with that are actually already doing super well. And then and I come back all the time. I mean, I will try to come back every year. I recorded my album at the DC Improv. I just did a show with them last week. Yeah. What'd you say?
I said I was there.
Oh, you were there. Oh, well, then I'll come back. Setup questions. Stalker ass questions.
See,
look, you out here dating. You know what I'm saying?
It was going great while Eddie was in the car. God damn it!
It kind of was.
I'm so sick of him.
No, I mean, my friends that are still in DC, DC area. I mean, Jason Weems is still a friend.
Okay.
I love Jay. People I started with, like Andy and Randy and
I'm guessing you need Andy Klein, Randolph
Andy Klein and Randolph. Okay. Randy, you're right. Okay. Randy Sturdivant. And I mean, I don't even know who's in DC anymore, but there are so many people that are so super talented. I started out with, I remember when we started, we had, Rory Scovel was our, started the same time we started. Seton Smith started the same time we started. Jermaine Fowler was everybody's little brother that we had, you know what I mean? And so it's
he just did Coming to America.
He just did Coming to America. He was on Essence in front of Eddie Murphy. I was like,
that was crazy.
It was crazy.
For every DC comic that's still here, like only thing I remember is one of our friend podcasts, Black Think Tank had Jermaine on, and I didn't know that he was the prince. I didn't know he was the son. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like. Only thing I remember was like a lot of people in DC just being like, "Yeah, see, this is what happens when you keep working, son." Like it was like we had Erin Jackson, we had Tony Woods, we got Dave Chappelle. We got Dave Chappelle, we got Ashley Lurie. Now we got Jermaine Fowler in front of, you know what I'm saying, arguably the GOAT. So it's like, bro, like people from DC, we got some shit underneath our sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Like. What do you think gives the edge on why so many DC comics are becoming household names?
Well, I mean, DC is a great place to start. Number one, I mean, it just is a smart city. So if you're a kind of comic that's a little bit more like the crowds get it. So you can be, you can get the best of both worlds. Like you could get a cool crowd, but you don't have to dump stuff down. And then, it's situated great in terms of like geography. Like it's you can get to New York a lot if you're in DC, super easy, super cheap. I think that's important for building relationships, just getting stage time if you can get it. Just, just networking with other comics. I mean, it's just a city where you could actually get up if you're starting. I mean, it was when I was there. You know what I mean? Like as a comic in New York, if I had started in New York, it would have been so difficult to get valuable stage time. Because it's usually just comics talking to comics, when you're at the beginning level. So I think DC offers you like quality stage time. And now the scene seems so much bigger than it was when I was there. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for comedy, I would have lived in DC forever. I love DC. But whenever I can come back, I'm coming back in July. I just booked my first road gig so far. I'll be Arlington, but yeah.
Arlington Drive House.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can't wait till it comes up. I'm gonna be there.
So how we talked about what you've done during the pandemic. How do you see comedy going once the pandemic is over? Like once things open back up and comedy is again, what do you think it looks like?
I think, I think comedy is going to be slow to pick up only because of capacity rules. Like in New York, I wasn't out there, but it was people sitting on rooftops in 20-degree weather to see comedy. Like people want comedy. So they're going to come back. I don't have any doubt that comedy is going to rebound. I just hope people are safe and responsible so that we could keep it open. Right. Like get their shots, behave responsibly, bring their mask, whatever. But it's crazy to have a whole industry shut down for like over a year with what are people supposed to do? A year. Who could live without working for a year? And what, no matter what you do. Yep. So I'm very anxious to see people again, but I think comedy, the rebound is going to be quick.
Do you really do think it's going to be quick? Like, I don't know.
I don't think it's going to be quick because of, I think that what equates to sold out is going to be sold out. It's not going to rebound.
Got you. Right. Yeah, because that's what's going on right now. There's a lot of people are having shows and rooms that hold 300, but because of capacity, they only hold 100. And everybody's like, I had a sold out show. Did you?
But you did.
But you did. Like, it's like, and it's one of those things where it's like, you got to be happy. It's like, dog, like, you got to be happy that you got 100 people in a room. But then you got to be scared. Please, nobody had
Which
COVID.
Is, and I feel selfish saying that, but I'm like, when I am vaccinated and then I give myself, a little, maybe another month, I really believe like I'll go back out. I just wish people wouldn't come out till they were vaccinated. Like if that way, but I know that's not going to be the case. Like I know people are, so it's just, it stinks, but I will be good. No, but I want, but for the sake of comedy and my fellow citizens.
Read the statement, Erin. Read the statement. You just hurt people's feelings. Time for you to read the statement. Apologize.
I'm saying I can only be in charge of myself. Right. I can't help you if you don't care about your life. All I'm saying, but also to be fair, like that's why I'm not taking dates until further out, because I don't. Also, even if I'm fine, I honestly don't want to be responsible for a gathering where people are being unsafe either. Like, I don't want it to be my show where some shit went down. So I'm like, if everybody can get a vaccine in May and people start getting vaccinated and that's done by June and July, then I'll start going out. You know what I mean? Right. But like maybe around here, will I, will I get up on stage somewhere? Will I go on a rooftop? Yeah, I'm sure. Will I drive into Manhattan? Sure. But it's just, people. I just wish people would just do the thing, do the thing, so we could get it. Because I can't work until you do the thing.
It sounds. I'm being honest here. It sounds like you are a black comedian, a black female comedian.
I am,
who is pushing the vaccine.
That is what is happening. Get that vaccine. We dying. Like I don't even want to hear. I can't even. If you're gonna say anything against, I can't. We're done.
I'm not. I can see it in her face.
I already told. See, you should have never let Eddie in this interview. Should have never let him.
I'm just no. This is all. Erin, tell me the truth. Do you think I'm a crappy person because I don't want to get the vaccine until I get a PS5? Am I a crappy person?
I love it. Yes.
I'm getting a PS5 next week though. So hey, listen.
What would be the logic there? I just want to hear the logic.
He ain't got no logic. There's no logic.
It is
the vaccine is free.
Erin, you waiting for something you ain't gonna get.
I just like to hear it, please.
All right, I'm about to tell you. This is I want to get the PS5 and the vaccine at the same time because the recall should be done by then. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just scared of a recall, and it's already in my body, and I can't really recall it. You get what I'm saying?
No.
Like, what if the vaccine is something wrong with the vaccine? I wanted to make sure the vaccine was straight Because it's like, you know, like PS5s when
But you know that they
PlayStation.
did like trials of the vaccine. I know people that were in the trials, so they got the vaccine way before all the other people. I already got my first shot. I'm good. So we're good.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Don't come to my show until you get the vaccine.
Tell him,
need you
Erin.
there.
Tell him.
What? I'm gonna get it. I am gonna get it. I was looking at some appointments for it, but I didn't like the times. I didn't really like the times.
You didn't like the times.
Yeah, the times that they had, I didn't like them. So I wanted to wait. You know what I'm saying? So they had a great time
First
for me
it was
to
a
go.
PS5. Now it's a
You know, I'm
side window.
literally gonna pick up. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick up the PS5 and then I'm gonna go right to my. I'm gonna hold the PS5 while I get my vaccination shot.
Erin, can you tell the people what you got going on?
Yeah,
Can you tell them what's going
change the
on?
subject.
Thank you. What do you have going on?
She seems so disgusted.
I love it.
She seems so mad at me.
I want everybody to get it. I just want people to be healthy so we can get this thing over with. So Broadway can open. So restaurants can open. It's about to be my birthday. It's about to be my second. I'm about to have my second pandemic birthday. Like, take the damn vaccine.
Okay. Hold on. I know we got another interview, and Angus, I will be good with you, bro. Listen, Erin, I really want to know this though. How did you deal with your birthday during COVID? Because I did not deal very well. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, it was the beginning because my birthday is the 24th of March, so it had just been like a week or so, you know. So, but I had plans. Like I was supposed to go to Jamaica. Like I had to cancel all that. So, you know, it was still in the beginning. I had just learned what Zoom was, so I had like a little Zoom party. But this one is not gonna be. I'm like. I really did not think I was going to have 2 birthdays in quarantine. So, but this year I feel like we're almost out.
Are you going to try to go to Jamaica? Jamaica getting the vaccine?
No, I'm not trying to go now. I'm not trying to get on a plane to go anywhere. You don't understand. Clearly you're missing the point, Eddie. I'm trying to stay alive. I'm not going to finally get a Netflix special and then get COVID and die.
How the hell
I'm not
famous?
You know what I'm saying? I want to be here for my fame.
Afterwards, right? Like
exactly. I don't want to die with potential. I don't want to die. I'm serious. I'm not even kidding.
I just wanted. I'm sorry. Did I throw off the interview at that point? I'm going to clip all of this up so all the vaccine people could come at you. So if you want to read.
They want to come at me about me wanting them to stay alive. That's what they want.
Yes.
Come at me. Come at me. This is so ridiculous. I can't even believe this thing that we're arguing about. I can't not we. Not we. I mean, as a country. Like, I can't even believe this is a thing. Like,
it's absurd.
It's so stupid.
It really is.
But people think that this shit might be, you know. I don't. I've had family members pass away, so I don't.
Me
think
too.
I really do think, you know what I'm saying, like the vaccine. Everybody needs to get the vaccine. I'm just not pushing. Like it's like the flu shot. I think everybody should get the flu shot. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna. I don't think pushing people to go get it is like being like, hey, you didn't get your flu shot, stay the fuck away from me. And I feel like that's how COVID's gonna be.
Well, I think it should be because I feel like it shut down people's livelihood. It ruined their livelihood. People lost their homes. 500,000 people died. It's a lot more serious.
500,000 people have died.
It's a lot more serious. It really is. It's like when you fight somebody who's trying to tell you wear a mask so that you stay alive and other people stay alive. Why are we fighting that? Like, how dare you tell me to stay alive? Like the logic doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like with all that we've lost, the least you could do as a member of a society, like if we are human people who live in a society, what that means is we have to give a damn about each other to some extent, because it's mutual. Like if COVID is here, then we're all exposed in this room or whatever. So it's not just you. It's not like wearing a seatbelt. Like this shit affects everybody. You don't want to wear a seatbelt in your car, go through the windshield. I don't care. I mean, I care, but it's not, you know what I mean? It doesn't affect me.
I don't care less than my kid. I mean, I'm just be honest.
But so that's just kind of how I feel about it. I just really,
right.
I really wish people were more compassionate and cared. In the societies where people understand like mutual benefit, I just think they've done so much better with COVID. Like if you look at what's going on in Japan and Korea, and you just look and go, they just followed the rules.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Did you see Bill Maher put up the thing about China, and like he was like, China is beating us. Like China basically they started the whole thing, and then like 6 months later they were just like, it's done. Like, hold up, nah, they lying. And then they were just like they were like, everybody was like, they're lying, and they were like, cool, and they just had raves all throughout of China, like they're just partying like shit with like techno music.
I didn't see that, but
yo, it's freaking hilarious. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to get you on a rant, Erin.
No, it's fine. And about this, it is. Because I was like, I'm in an industry that ain't got no phase. Like you look at all the phases, they be like, oh, this is gonna open up in phase, whatever. I'm like, what phase is comedy?
Right. So I don't know if you would talk. Like, so I run the DC. I'm one of the people that run the DC Comedy Festival, right? And so we got shut down in April, and our festival was in April. We got shut down March 19th, March 16th. Everything went like kapoots. And so like everybody's like, when are y'all bringing the festival back? When y'all bringing it? Like, I don't know. Hopefully, Mayor Bowser, gets her A game and is like, hey, we can have this back. But like you just said, comedy is like the only industry not listed. Like, SBA was like, hey guys, we know you guys run shows, so we're gonna give you a shuttered venues grant, for everybody that runs live events, because you guys got screwed. Oh, thank you, SBA. When you gonna open that up?
2024. Take this $100 and stretch it out real nice.
We'll give you a $400 stimulus in 2028.
But Terrence, go ahead, man. I know you was about to wrap it up.
No, I was just saying, Erin, tell the people what you've got going on. Everybody can see the ticker right here. Make sure you follow.
Oh yeah, that's me.
That's you.
That's me on Instagram, and that's me on Twitter and Facebook. If you still go there, I don't really go there that much, but anyway, I got some cool stuff coming up. I think I can. I'm gonna be on Access Hollywood on Friday.
Okay.
I've got something cool coming up on the 23rd on ABC, so check that. If you go to EJ the Comic, you'll hear about that in a couple days. And just cool stuff, just interviews and podcasts and interneting until I can get back up there on that stage.
Interneting. Erin, I really do appreciate you coming on. Like you don't know us, and it was an amazing time to have you on, especially your rant about the vaccines. That will definitely be a clip that we tag you in and put a statement underneath for you.
I'll be in your corner defending you from all these haters. All right.
I don't care about no haters that talk about they ain't taking the vaccine. You ain't got to defend me.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's I'm gonna get in trouble. Good night.
With it. That's why I'm mad with it. With it. That's why I'm mad with it. Straight out the trap with it. Whatever you want, whatever you need, it's on tab.